What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. We got some issues going on today with my buddy Brystans' truck. You've probably seen this truck in one of my other videos. It's one of the trucks we built a couple years back, and we've run into a couple different issues on it, and we're going to go over those today and get them fixed up so we can get the truck back on the road. But real quick, I wanted to touch on our cab series pull, or our cab pull series and head gasket replacement job. We're going to jump back on it here very soon. I believe we have decided that we are not going to use the engine that is in that truck just because of the amount of problems, but we're going to pull this low mileage engine out of my wrecked Harley truck over here and swap it into it. So we'll make a different video on that, and we'll continue with that as soon as I get free time here to get it yanked. But this is number one priority here as of right now, to get this thing fixed back up. It's been sitting for a little while, so I definitely want to get him back rolling and everything, especially with spring and summer coming up. I'm sure he wants his truck back. But I think what we got going on today is we have a couple brake lines blown apart. Not really sure what happened here, but we've got one down here by our ABS module. Oh, look at that trash. Good Lord. What's wrong with you? Lord. But we got a blown out brake line down here on our ABS module we're going to have to check out. And then we also have one up underneath the truck by the fuel tank. You can kind of see the puddle on the ground there. And so those two issues, and for some reason the truck does not want to go down in gear. So I'm not sure if we got maybe a pedal switch issue, maybe the neutral safety switch on the transmission. Not sure, gonna have to figure that one out. But I think that's the majority of our problems. I think we're gonna do an oil change on it, quick service for it, just so it's 100% ready. But yeah, so real quick, first the video, like I do in every other one, I just want to say thank you all so very much for subscribing, commenting, reaching out. There's a lot of people that reach out to me on the social media stuff lately, asking for different types of videos. I love that. Keep giving me ideas, and I'll make sure that I make those videos. But like I said, thank you guys so much. Each and every single one of you is awesome. I have faith in everybody to do this stuff themselves. So let's jump on Brystans' truck and let's get it knocked out. We're looking for our ABS codes here. All these are going to be from where the truck had batteries died. That one's from the truck having an air dog. If you ever see that cam position sensor code, more than likely you have that. It will always throw that code if the batteries have died. So just a heads up on that one. Looks like it needs a fan clutch, maybe an EVP sensor. So let's see here. Ooh, right there. Didn't give me no ABS codes there, did it? Brake pedal input circuit fault. I bet that's going to be our problem right there. All right, so I believe I found our shifting issue as far as the truck not going down into gear. I believe we have a faulty brake pedal position switch. That's what's showing me on the scanner. So I think we're going to do the old rusty trusty Harley truck over here, and we're going to just go down here and grab us our switch off this one, because I don't think it's going to do us no good anymore, and throw it on this thing. I think I'm also just going to go ahead and steal whatever brake lines are blown apart off this thing, because I believe we're about to take this to the crusher. So yep, so I'm gonna steal that switch real quick and see if I can get the truck to go down to gear, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so that did end up being our problem. I do see these go bad from time to time. I will let you know right now, not sure on the 5R trucks, because it's pretty rare that they go bad on 6 liters, but early model Super Duties, they're bad about this going bad. And what will happen is you can have problems with torque converter lockup and stuff like that with this right here. I've had different issues with it going bad, fixed it. And another thing I have seen is the third brake light. I've seen those burn out, and mostly on 4R trucks, so 7.3 trucks, brake light burns out, third brake light burns out, and the torque converter will not lock up. So that is just a little tip of information there for you, but this was our problem. Truck now goes into gear, and now we can jump on our brake lines. All right, guys, so I just wanted to real quick go over this switch here. This actually goes on your brake pedal, and it will slide on. You will have a bushing between these two right here that will go in the actual rod from the Hydro Boost. So I believe that's our issue right now. But to get it off, I see some people do struggle with this. Your first thing you're going to see is this clip right here. And what it does is basically just keep this cotter pin from popping out. The way you pop these out is, if they were together, these two tabs right here, you would just underneath squeeze these and push out, and it would separate. It's hard to do with one hand, but yep, just these two tabs right here. When you look at it, it should be kind of facing like this up underneath the truck. So just squeeze those, pop it out. This will separate and get it off, and then you will have a cotter pin that will go in the actual rod on the brake pedal there to hold everything on. So don't lose this. I like to put these back on, just a little extra safety measure. But I like to grab me a pair of needle nose, and I'll just pull up and pop this out. That way I don't fling it across the cab of the truck and lose it. All right, guys, so it is the next day. Had to take me a break yesterday. I don't know if y'all have ever had one of those days, but yesterday for me was just one of those times that seems like every single thing that you do is just fighting you, doesn't want to work. So I wanted to kind of take this opportunity to share probably one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given in my life. If you're getting mad and frustrated and you're having one of those days, the best thing for you to do is to just go home and start over the next day. And I have found that when you do that, everything just flows so much better. I don't know what it is or how that works. I think it's just because you're getting frustrated and mad. But go home, or another thing you can do is if you have a bunch of stuff to do, if one thing's just fighting you and it's just not happening and you're spending a lot of time on it, move on to the next thing on your list. So if you had like pulling the tank yesterday on this truck, if that was just fighting me, I would move on to like fixing one of the brake lines up front or something. And I was trying to do that, but it seemed like everything was just not cooperating with me. So I find that the best thing to do at that point is just to go home and start over fresh the next day. But just a little motivational, inspirational speech for you there this morning before we continue back on this truck. But I do believe that is the probably the best piece of advice I've ever been given in my entire life, and I use it on a daily basis. So let's jump back on this. I got the tank kind of dropped a little bit here. The lines up top were fighting me yesterday really, really bad. So I just it was already 5 o'clock, so I just went ahead and headed to the house. And we're going to start fresh this morning. But I'll get those lines popped off the top, get the tank out the way, and we'll see where our leaky brake line is coming from. All right. There be our culprit right there. Bad boy runs all the way up too. Woo! All right. Well, on my fuel tank here, I decided I was just that line was fighting me, so we're just gonna leave it connected. It's not hurting nothing, it's out of my way. And that way I ain't gonna pull the tank out from under the truck and then get it back in. So I'm gonna go move over to the wrecked Harley truck. I'm gonna pull that brake line off, and we'll get this one swapped out and move to the next one. Well, boys, here she is. Big old long SOB, pain in my butt. You have a union up here. It'll be by your secondary, or I'm sorry, not your secondary, your fuel pump. If you still had a stock placement fuel pump on this, your water separator down there on the frame rail, it's directly in front of it. It's a 7/16 wrench that I used, and you're gonna need to hold the union in the middle to bust it loose. I did soak these in some WD-40 just because the truck's a little rusty, so I just didn't want to round these off because they round off very easily. So just a heads up on that, because if you round it off, you're going to be fighting it a lot more than needs be. So soak it down a little bit, maybe the night before or something like that, and you'll be good to go. But this thing runs the whole length all the way back. And then if we go over here to our wrecked Harley truck, I'll show you the back where it connects in the very back. So back here, right here. So she connects right there, runs all the way along the frame rail. This truck has super low mileage, so that's why it looks better shape. I don't really know why it blew out like that. There's really no rub point or nothing like that where it was at. This is the first time I've had to replace one of these that's blown apart, but she's blown apart right here, right directly next to that. So trying to get if you were to try and splice this, getting that right there where that's bent and everything like that, probably not going to work so well. And then having to try and bend it again where it's rusty like that, probably just going to create another hole. So I suggest, well, yeah, I mean, if you can replace it with a union and the line looks okay, I would suggest that, because this line is an astronomical price of $600 from Ford. Kind of a kick in the chest there on how much for a brake line. You could try and make this yourself, but there is a lot of bends in it. I'm not super great on making brake lines, so we've got one over there we're going to use. But yeah, that's where she blew out on me. I reckon it's just from maybe a little bit of rust or something. Maybe it's a bad spot that it just I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just, get it to focus there if I can. Yeah, I guess just from rust. I don't know. But we're gonna jump over on the wreck truck and get the fresh one off there and get her swapped out, and we'll be done with this brake line. We can throw the tank back in. All right, guys, so I've got my leak found on the front here. If you look down here, I got my battery box out of the way and everything. Down here on this braided line section right here, this is a 04.5 truck, so it does have the ABS module down here instead of being over here. You can tell by the power steering reservoir being there. But my line in the middle here, so this one right here, is the braided section is blown out. Never seen that before. It's not, once again, just like the back, not rubbing anything. I think the rear was just because it was rusty, but this is kind of different, not rubbing anything, just kind of blew apart. So don't really know on that, but we're gonna fix it anyway. So I'm gonna go over here and on our, once again on our wreck truck, same thing. Got pretty lucky on this one. What did I do with it? Oh Lord, I done lost a lot. There it is. Woo! Panicked there for a second. So I've got it right here. Already pulled off my ABS module down there. And based off how this runs, it runs up underneath the engine. and over to the passenger side wheel. And it's going to be a nightmare to get it out, even on the wreck truck with all the front clip off. So I couldn't imagine doing it with the front clip still being on this thing. So I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you over here. We're going to splice it, which is okay as long as you do it right. We're going to touch on that real quick. So if you look here, this is a compression fitting. These are a no-no. Do not use these on brake lines. You can tell one because it will have a little, this is your compression part. So when you tighten that up, it basically crimps onto the line. But as far as brake system goes, this is kind of a no-no. So I do not recommend using this, even in worst case scenario. I would recommend doing it the correct way. The correct way is I don't have a fitting right now, so I'm going to have to go grab one real quick. But you're going to have to get you a tool here. This is a double flaring tool. And basically, I'll show you how to use it. But we're going to get one that's basically like the line that was down on the frame rail for the other blown out one. So basically, you flare it, but you'll have the nut cert here will go on the line, and then you'll flare it, and then it will basically seal up to your middle part here. So it's kind of the same idea in a way, but definitely a much better idea to do it this way than it is this way. So just a heads up on that. Don't want y'all to be wrecking your trucks if you're doing this job. But comes with a little cutter, so I'm going to go over there and I'm going to find the best place to cut that line and splice it together, and then I'm going to go grab me the right fitting. I got my my section cut out here. Just cut it wherever I could find a good spot to get my tool. But here is our culprit. Nice hole. Never seen that before. Don't really know how that happened, but well, so there's that. But I just wanted to show y'all how to use this cutting tool. We're just going to move over to here, and basically on our new line, we're going to loosen this up. Give me just a second here. All right, and I want a decent section here, and I'll trim it as I need. So I'm gonna probably go about right there. And we're gonna tighten it up. If I can get it to tighten. There we go. All right, get it tight and not super tight. And what we're gonna do is once you have it tightened, we're gonna rotate it and spin it around and just continue to do so. And you're just gonna tighten it as we go here. So spin it. This is kind of hard because it's in the truck, but yeah, just like this. Keep on spinning, and as you're spinning, you'll feel it loosen up on you. Just keep on snugging it up, Yep, snug it up again. Snug it up. Just like that. And there she goes. And voila. Now we have our brake line section. And what we're going to do is come over here. And if you look, this will be kind of burred up a little bit. So on your tool here, we have a little deburring bit. And you're just going to stick that in the hole and ream it out. And get that burr out, and then you are ready to flare your line and get your fitting put on. So like I said, I just trimmed this a little extra because I want to have some room to work, and I don't want that compression fitting to be like completely butted up against this braided section. So I got some line here, a little bit of room, but there's our new line to replace that, and I'm gonna go get the right fitting. Got my fitting, the correct fitting down here, and I got everything spliced up. I didn't do a lot of recording because it has been a very large pain in my butt. But yeah, so this is the correct fitting right there. You're gonna have to clean it up really good, get all the insulation. They got like a wrap around the brake line. You can peel it off, but you got to get all of it off because the the actual flare fitting won't go down on the brake line, so you'll have to sit there and clean it up really good. But that's the correct way to do that. If you're gonna do it, you'll have to flare both ends. Make sure that your actual nut piece right here, make sure it's actually on the brake line before you flare it, or you just wasted all your time. I didn't do that, thankfully. But we got it all buttoned up and everything like that. I'm going to kind of maybe take it loose real quick and put some heater hose around that line just to prevent it from rubbing anything. I don't think it's going to, but it's not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to tighten everything back up, and then I'm going to have to bleed all four corners. So I think that's really all I've got for you on this truck. I'm going to swap some batteries out because they are not any good. Got some junky diehards in there. So we went and got us two new 850 Motorcrafts. But yeah, I'm going to start bleeding some brakes and throw the truck back together and give it back to Bryson. So I just wanted to touch on this a little bit more on how to use this tool, just in case y'all do this job or just make brake lines or anything in general. So what I would do is, obviously I've got my section here where I would be doing my flare. I've got it all cleaned up, and I have reamed out the inside of that. Like I said, with your cutting tool, you just stick it in there and ream it out and get all the burrs out of it where it's nice and open. And then what we would do at this point is I would flip this over. So this part right here is got a recess in it for the fitting. I'm going to flip it over to this side where it's flat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the right hole. So in this case, this is a 3/16 line. And I'm going to basically put that as flush as I can. And I'm going to get a file, and I'm going to file that down where it's nice and smooth. I want a nice flat place to do that. So I've already done that. So just get you a file, and then we're going to flip it over. So at this point, it would be very important that you would have your actual nut for the flare on this line. Because if you don't and you flare it, you're not going to be able to get it on, and you just wasted this brake line. So in this case, like I said, this is a 3/16 line. So we're going to have this fitting out of the tool, which is the 3/16. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide that right there. I want to put this on. Go ahead and put this on. And then I'm going to get my, it's kind of a pain, but I'm going to get my line put in. My hole, if I can. There we go. All right, so I got my line put in, and then I'm gonna swing this, and I'm gonna tighten it down, not fully tight, just snug, so the line's not going nowhere. And then what we're gonna do here is, if you look, you've got two steps on this fitting here. We're gonna measure the line to the first step. So I'm going to place this flush. I'm going to pull my line down until it is right where I want it as far as being with that first step. I'm going to make sure our tool is nice and lined up, and I'm going to tighten this up nice and good. And I mean, you're going to want it pretty darn tight, because if you don't get it tight enough, it's just going to push the line out of this tool. So let's get her nice and snug. Like so. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our fitting, push it down in this hole here, like so. Make sure y'all can see. You can't. Not worth the crap. I suck. I know. I'm sorry. So we're going to take this loose, and I'm just going to start tightening it up, and it's going to suck down into the middle of that line. So it would look like this at this point. And we're just going to start tightening her up. So in a perfect world, you'd be doing this in a vise, but we're not in a perfect world, so we're just tightening this up. And we're going to tighten until the actual piece down here is, our actual fitting is flush and flat on our tool. And then we can go ahead and back this on off, like so. Don't go too far. We just want to get our fitting out of here. All right, so as you can see, we've got a nice kind of bubble in there. And now what we're going to do is we just have our fitting pulled out of the line, and we're just going to push this tool and tighten it right back up into the line, like so. So now you just have this piece right here pressed into the line itself, and we're going to tighten it up again. At this point, you don't want to go insanely tight. We just want it snug. All right, I think it's pretty good. And then I'm gonna back it back off, like so. And now at this point, you can go ahead and loosen up your tool, like so. Pull this off, we're done with it. Done with the whole tool. And now, as you can see, we have a nice, pretty flare. So now at this point, you are ready to install. Obviously, make sure don't forget to put your nut on right here. And now you're ready to put some brake lines together. So if you were to make some brake lines or needed to splice the section in, make sure that you get a flare fitting. So you'll need 2 nuts and a union for the middle. And this is the tool that you'll need. It is a Blue Point. I'm pretty sure you can get this from anywhere, but just for what I've got, it's a part number Tango Foxtrot 528 Delta double flaring tool. So that's what you're going to need for this. And like I said, then just clean it up and everything, and you are good to go. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. We've got it all put back together. Brakes are bled, and we are ready to rock and roll. I'm sure he's going to be super happy to get his truck back on the road. It's been sitting for a little while we cleared some work trucks out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really just cannot stress that enough, just how awesome each and every single one of you guys are. wouldn't be doing this without you guys, and I really, really appreciate all of you. And I hope I keep putting out some good content. If anybody has any questions, like about Brystans or anything, I did make a video on it a while back. But if you have any questions, just shoot me up on the comment section, and I will definitely get back with you. But we're all wrapped up here. I swear this color just never gets old. It's probably one of my favorite colors we've ever done on a truck. It just shines. You can't even see just the sheer amount of flake. I mean, and we're in a dark shop, and man, it just looks good. But once again, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna get this thing pulled out, give it back to him so you can go keep on ripping her down the road. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.